video analysis of Shinae's letter, Instagram letter, and go through her DMs and, trying to compare everything. In this video, I was going to originally do a series of all the document files that Happy Shua has documented in her Google Docs. So that's for another video, because since it's going to take some time for me to do that. So I really wanted to go through this, and the reason I'm making this video is to show that is Shinae a narcissist. I am not the one to diagnose the people with NPD. They're just my opinions, and all these are just for people to watch. Alright? So before we get into that, we have to know what narcissism is, or NPD, which is known as narcissistic personality disorder. So let's learn about narcissism first, and then we're going to go through all of the other stuff and try to see what category Shinae falls in, if it's narcissistic or NPD. We don't know, because I'm not the one to self-diagnose somebody. But this is all just for fun. Let's get started. So let's learn about narcissism. So let me go to page 1. Alright, page 1. So narcissism. Here's a little fun fact. The Greek myth, the narcissus rejected the nymph Echo, and since he rejected him, he was cursed to fall in love with his own reflection. This is Narcissus, all that. The Greek myth continued. He eventually turned into the flower Narcissus, which is right there, if you can't tell. And then go over here. Okay, narcissistic personality disorder, according to the DSM-IVTR, a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, need for admiration, and lack of empathy that begins by early adulthood and is present in a variety of contexts. A cluster B disorder that falls under the same cluster as antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and histrionic personality disorder, dramatic, emotional, or erratic disorders. Alright. The diagnostic criteria, 5 or more criteria must be met for diagnosis. 1. Grandiose sense of self-importance, exaggerates achievements and talents, expects to be recognized as superior. Your counselors or therapists will look for boastful, pretentious behavior, surprise when they don't receive praise, minimizing the efforts and contributions of others. Alright? The diagnostic criteria, and part 2, is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. Counselors look for clients who compare themselves to famous or prestigious, privileged people. Alright? Diagnostic criteria part 3 is believe they are special and unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high status people or institutions. Okay? Counselors look for, or your therapist will look for in general, clients who exclude others because they are simply not good enough, saying they can only be understood by improved people, placing a high value on the people chosen to associate with, insisting on having the best individual provide services for them, teachers, doctors, etc. Alright? Number 4 is requires excessive admiration. Counselors or your therapist will look for is fragile self-esteem, preoccupation with the opinions others have of them, expectations of others to covet their belongings and achievements, fishing for compliments. Part 5 is has a sense of entitlement, unreasonable expectations of expressly favorable treatment or automatic compliance with his or her own expectations. Counselors or therapists will look for clients who expect all others to cater to them, believe that the work they are doing is very important and others should help them unquestionably. Alright? Part 6 is interpersonally exploitative, takes advantage of others to achieve his or her own ends. Counselors will look for either is a lack of sensitivity to the needs and wants of others, expecting far too much of other people, forming relationships that simply enhance their self-esteem, being greedy with material sources. Alright? Number 7 is lack of empathy, a way to recognize or identify with the feelings and need for others. Counselors or therapists will look for trouble understanding the subjective experience of others, discussing their own concerns in lengthy detail, impatience with others talk about their own concern, saying hurtful comments, example, bragging to an ex about a new relationship, bragging about health to a sick person, seeing the problem of others as weakness. Part 8 is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of him or her. Counselors will look for or the therapists will look for is thinking they are more deserving than others of positive consequences, devaluing the admiration given to others. Alright? Part 9 is shows arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes. Counselors or your therapists will look for criticizing the work of others, snobby attitudes, and name calling. Alright? Personality descriptors is immoral, conscienceless, authoritarian, cares about appearances, contemptuous, critical of others, cruel, disappointing gift givers, don't recognize own feelings, envious and competitive, feel entitled, flirtatious or seductive, grandiose, hard to have a good time with, hate to live alone, hypersensitive to criticism, lack sense of humor, naive, passive, pessimistic, religious, secretive, self-contradictory, stingy, strange work habits, usually unusual eating habits, weird sense of time. Alright? Other characteristics are haunted by criticism, low threshold of humiliation, social and peer relationships, low functioning due to the fear of defeat. NPD is also associated with dysthymic or major depressive disorder, hypomanic moods, anorexia nervosa, substance-related disorders, especially cocaine, other personality disorders such as histrionic, borderline, antisocial, and paranoid. Age of onset, gender features, narcissistic traits common in adolescence, therefore NPD is not diagnosed into adulthood. If those traits have been continued beyond adolescence and cause significant failure in the interpersonal environment. Symptoms are intensified by the aging process due to physical or occupational limitations. 50 to 75% diagnosed are male, saying that yes, there are females that have this disorder, but it's just a lot that are male. But there are females with this disorder as well. Prevalence is 2 to 60% in the clinical population and 1% in the general population. The differential diagnosis: NPD is very similar to histrionic, antisocial, and borderline personality disorder, except for one important characteristic: grandiosity. When compared to borderline PD, NPD has a stable self-image. NPD has a lack of self-destructiveness, impulsivity, and fear of abandonment. When compared to histrionic PD, NPD has excessive pride in achievements. NPD has lack of emotional display, and NPD has a lack of concern for others' sensitivities. When compared to antisocial PD, NPD is not characteristically impulsive, and NPD is not an aggressive disorder. Individuals with NPD are not purposely deceitful. NPD requires more admiration from others. Individuals with NPD may lack the conduct disorder from childhood or criminal behaviors in adulthood. When compared to obsessive compulsive disorder, both have perfectionist qualities and the beliefs that only they can do right. However, people with OCD have more self-criticizing, while people with NPD think they are perfect. Alright, other differential diagnoses are: when compared to psychotypal or paranoid PD, NPD is not socially withdrawn and suspicious unless there is fear of defeat or criticism. When compared to manic or hypomanic episodes, both have grandiose characteristics, but NPD does not have rapid mood change or impaired functioning. Also, be sure that symptoms are not the result of substance use. Possible causes is genetics. Twin study of the 18 personality characteristics measured, narcissism had the highest heritability. The average study, assortative mating, self-seeking like hypothesis. Possible causes: unconscious belief that oneself is flawed in a way that makes the person fundamentally unacceptable to others, lack of healthy empathetic attachment with primary caregivers. The child begins to feel unwanted and unconnected with others. More possible causes: according to the Mayo Clinic website, these developmental or parenting factors may contribute to NPD. And oversensitive treatment at birth, overindulgence and over-evaluation by parents, valued by parents as a means to regulate their own self-esteem, excessive admiration that is never balanced with realistic feedback, unpredictable or unreliable caregiving from parents, severe emotional abuse in childhood, being praised for perceived exceptional looks or talents by adults, learning manipulative behaviors from parents. Narcissistic parents see children as extensions of themselves and pleasures them to act according to their unreachable standards. Overly instructive or neglectful, harsh punishments, including physical abuse, blame, guilt, criticism, and emotional neglect, etc. Environmental factors: co-narcissism. Narcissists look for this trait in their mates, encourage it in their children, characterized by passive and compliments to the demands of others. Easily blame others' opinions. Codependent personality style similar to co-alcoholism or codependency. Treatment strategies: difficult because most people with NPD will not seek treatment due to the characteristics of the disorder. Usually directed by others to begin therapy unwillingly. People with NPD fear that therapy will expose their weakness. Individual psychotherapy is the most common form of treatment. Sometimes group and family counseling is incorporated. Pharmacotherapy is rarely used to treat NPD itself, but meds may be suggested to treat other symptoms such as depression or anxiety. Prognosis. Success of psychotherapy depends on the severity of the case. Other related problems that may arise as a result of NPD is relationship and family member problems and substance abuse and dependence. A side note, many people display narcissistic type personality characteristics, especially people who are successful and competitive. NPD is only a disorder when the characters are inflexible, maladaptive, and causing significant impairment or distress. Assessment strategies, personality disorder tests handed out in classes or in therapy offices. And here is some references of where. Okay. So we have been through all that, and we know what is narcissism. So let's go over here and let's read Shinae's letter. Alright. So I'm going to read her letter, and let's see. And then we're going to analyze it and see what we have. So let's start. She says, "Hello, this is actress Shinae. 10 years ago, I was young and I lacked courage. However, even today, I have been talking with fear and hesitation. However, I felt as though my younger self would have been disappointed and regretful if I did not get the courage and speak up. Since I was young, I've been in the entertainment industry, but when I went to school, I was an ordinary student like everybody else. I transferred to that Wa Middle School in the first semester of 8th grade, and I tried my best to be on good terms with my classmates. During the 2 years I was at the school, the person who mentors me, Sujin, constantly criticized me, attacked me for no reason in places like the streets during recess, the cafeteria. Every she, and her group and cursed behind saying, how can she be a celebrity when she's not even pretty? No wonder she's a loser. I don't understand why the teachers give her special treatment. It might have been their age or the jealousy of the young students or just passing remarks, but those words still hurt me deeply. The wounds from those words eventually spread into my body like a huge bruise, and my fear of people began to arise. The fears turned into trauma, and I became introverted. It's true that this became an obstacle for me in high school. This is how I realized that not only physical violence, but mental violence can leave a lifelong scar on a person. She said that she doesn't remember and she never spoke to me, and that's correct. She has insulted me one-sidedly. I feel ashamed that she decided to say that she had never made contemptuous remarks and actions towards me and her friend group. And then she says down here, I don't know what type of witnesses or evidence she has, but I ask her if her selective memory is genuine enough to truly cover everything that has been talked about. If anyone who is currently dealing with school bullying/violence, be brave and ask for help. I couldn't do it, and I believe that it will get better over time, but it never did. I apologize that this incident may have caused many people concern. From now on, I will repay you with all my various activities as an actress. And now with my personal matter, I hope you all are happy in April. It must be exhausting due to coronavirus, so I hope you guys will cheer up soon. Thank you. So we have that. Now time to analyze this. So the part I want to highlight is this part. Get my highlighting tool. The part I want to highlight is this part. I'm going to highlight this part where it says right there. And I'm also going to highlight this part as well. So this is part of it. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this part as well. So I'm going to highlight all that. I'm going to highlight this, and it says Sujin constantly criticized me, attacked me for no reason in places like the streets during recess and in the cafeteria. Every day, she, Sujin, and her group giggled and cursed behind my back, saying, "How can she be a celebrity when she's not even pretty? No wonder she's a loser. I don't understand why teachers give her similar treatment." And then I'm going down here and highlight this part as well. She said she never spoke to me, and that's correct. She assaulted me one-sidedly. Alright. Okay, so we have that. I'm gonna take a drink of water. So we have that, alright? We have that. And, let's see. So, you might notice there's a few wrong here. And the reason I'm saying there's a lot of wrong here, because I'm gonna, from here, this one and this one. This is known as a D N. And we'll go over what a DN is in a minute. And this is also, right here, this statement I highlighted is also a DN. Alright. They're both DNs. And it's DN stands for not a DM, but a DN stands for a double negative. Something that doesn't make sense in a sentence. Meaning, that's, for example, if I said, Stephanie pushed me down the stairs, but I don't know if Stephanie was the one that pushed me down the stairs. Or Billy slapped me across the face, but I don't know if Billy did slap me across the face. Something like that. Or Carrie took the last slice of pizza, but I didn't see her do it. So that's a double negative. And these are double negative statements. She claims that, okay, oh no, we don't want that. We do not mind do this text. Erase this. Okay, let me just erase that and put this back on. Alright, now there we go. And I'm touching the screen. So, what this is a double negative. Meaning, she claims that Sujin said all this stuff about her, and she goes down here and says, well, she never spoke to me. Meaning, you can't place blame on someone if you don't know who specifically did it. So instead of her saying in this statement, instead of her saying, well, I don't know if it was her, but her group did giggle behind my back, curse behind my back. But instead, she included Sujin in that friend group, and because that's the only person she saw with, all that. Because I'm guessing Sujin, yes, she was a part of that friend group, but she left, I think grade 8, I'm not sure. But Sujin did leave before Shinae got there. Meaning that if we look through, remember when narcissism it says they accept other people's opinions all the time, meaning Shinae has a reputation of accepting other people's opinions of previous school bullying. I'm not saying Shinae never been bullied and all that. I'm not just disclosing that, but I think from all that bullying, when people go up to her and say, this person's talking about you, she accepts it without even going over to that person saying, hey, did you actually talk about me? Did you say this? So she automatically puts blame on the person, whether or not she doesn't know if it was true or not. and that is commonly known in NPD, but it's not a full. I'm not saying this is enough evidence to fully make her, to diagnose her with NPD. It just shows the narcissistic types of behavior that she's portraying in this specific part of this statement. So, as I said, you cannot say that she did it and then say, well, she never spoke to me. And, because in order for you to know that someone's talking about you behind your back, you specifically have to know who is talking about you. And if you don't know, you go up to that person and say, hey, are you talking about me? And they give you all that. So stuff like the streets during recess in the cafeteria, those are all public places, meaning those are places you can see somebody talking about you or giggling at you. And and it's double negative because it doesn't make sense of what she's saying. They never spoke to me, and this and that, and this and that. Meaning, you as a person just accepted her, just accepted that she did it, and no regards to that. And then we go down here, and she says, I will repay you in various activities as an actress and not with my personal matters. And if I go to here, let me just go over here. I'm going to circle personal matters because later when we read her DMs, that is not a perfect circle, but later when we read her DM, she would bring more of her personal matters in this DM, meaning that this right here is all a lie. It's a lie because she does bring her personal matters into it. Alright. It's all a lie. Lie. Okay. It's all a lie. So she does bring her personal matters into this. And when I read this, it didn't make personal sense because even before she made this statement, she had previous narcissistic types of characteristics, such as in a recent deleted Instagram post, I can't find it, but whoever has it, please send it to me. She used the lyrics of "Wah" in her Instagram post, and you might be thinking, well, what is that? "Wah" is a song by a group called I-DLE, which Sujin is in. So using the lyrics like that in your statement shamelessly is very narcissistic behaviors. And the reason for that is that you are basically mocking the person of, you're basically mocking that person by using the lyrics and stuff and all that, because all of this double negative, and saying I will pay you with all various activities as an actress, but not with my personal matters, which is a lie because you do go on spilling out your personal matters all over the internet, and you are just getting yourself caught up in more and more lies. Alright, so we analyze that. And I like how she says, it must bear their age or jealousy of young students or just passing remarks. Meaning right here, age or jealousy of younger students. Yes, there might be some students that are, let's change let me erase this. Let's change highlight color. Yes, there may be some students that are jealous of a celebrity coming to your school, and it's common for children to feel that way because these celebrities are getting treated in a different way than other students, and and that does happen though. So yeah, but all of this we'll come back to this later. But first, let's go over to the DMs. So this is part 1 of the DM. A person messaged Shinae, and this is what they had to say. I hate to message you, but I need to say something. To be honest, you are adorable. And you are a great actress. I watched a few videos of your acting, and you were so cute and super good at what you do. I love to support you, but because of what you did, I can't. I hope that you repent with what you did. I know you were bullied before, and she persisted. I know you were bullied before by someone else, not Susan. I am truly sorry for what you went through before, but doing the same thing to someone so vulnerable due to public's opinions is really the worst. I'm pretty sure, and she says, I'm pretty sure that you know what happened to some idols who had committed suicide due to hate, which is true, yeah. I hope you really repent, since Susan almost thought of doing it. What you have done is something that can't be deleted, like your post. Haters of Susan will never be deleted, and those who think that she's a bully would think that way. That's part 1. Let's go to part 2. And in part 2, it says, please do repent. I know that your colleagues that you worked with have new projects, but you did not need to do this. You have not messed up just Susan's career, but also yours. I am not sure what is planned for your future, but I wish you good luck, and I hope you are happy with what you have done. And if you ever forget to, I hope you would apologize someday. And Shanae replies, first of all, thanks for contacting me. I never use the media, rather have no choice but to respond because she mentions me. Who was still, I don't know what I did wrong to you guys. Tell me exactly what do I owe an apology for. The reason I deleted the post was because the fault I didn't commit caught me. And we'll go to over here, part 3. Okay. Caught me. Do you think I ruined her career? Then who do you think ruined my school days? And who do you think gave me trauma? I had hard times until I was 20 because of it. There may be some awkwardness that I don't speak English as well as a native speaker, but I wanted to reply as an unfair position. I want to stop getting involved with her. I overcome with trauma, but now your fandom is bothering me, and you told me you wanted me to feel guilty, but I wanted them to be aware of the fault. I fully understand that you're trying to cover up your idol with a fan heart, but it's very rude to read the wrong information and drive me into a bad person for months. You don't think so? Then we go over here to part 4. And in part 4 it says, thank you for responding to me. First of all, I want to apologize for my fandom bringing the trauma back. We all tried to hold back and stop checking you out, but it's really hard. First, what I know, she said in her statement that she never talked to you. Meanwhile, you said that she gossiped about you behind her back because of that you became an outcast in school. 1, but how come you mentioned before that a senior in your school was the one who bullied you? 2, Susan said before that her former friends on spreading gossip, and by the time you said you were bullied, she already left that friends. To be honest, this is the reason many people think that your story is part 5 is false, because we never had closure, and since you removed your posts and comments back to one of the comments, it looks like you used her. And Shanae replies, 1, there was a group of seniors friends and even juniors in that school at the time. In an interview, I only said was seniors too. I have no idea if she was already an outcast. If it was a situation that only that group knew. And she says, I don't know about abroad, but I have no reason to use her because I already have a reputation in Korea. As you know, images is important into the environment. Why would I use her? Why would I make a risk and use her? We have that. So I'm gonna go over here and go over here. Alright, so we're over here. And I want to point out how she says, in her statement, she mentioned that just talked about her, but just blamed her because she's part of that group. And then she goes over here saying, she goes over. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I think it's part 5. Oh, she goes over here and says, well, I have no idea if Sherry was part of that outcast of a situation that only those group knew. And saying, well, she had no idea at all. But over here, she blames her and her group. But over here, she has no idea. Meaning, she just puts blame on other people without even looking for evidence about it or going to that person and getting confirmation about it. And and she just says other people's opinions, whether it's facts or not, and she will blame other people for of what people said to her. Either that's being somebody saying, hey, this person talking about you, or this person is literally, harassing you. She will believe it because of previous traumas, and that is not good. And it does show in narcissistic behaviors as well. And then I like the part right here is she does come out with her personal matters out on the internet a lot, and this will happen through the whole case. And so that would be a lie as well, as I said. Yeah, so we went through all of that and all of this, meaning this does show narcissistic types of behaviors, but I'm not saying she has NPD disorder. She does have a lot of narcissistic ways of speaking when she did this, and she just basically called herself in a lie. And yeah, and they don't care for other people's opinions or what hurt they may cause. Because it's like, well, I've been through this in my childhood, so I don't have to care about what other people have gone through. Because it's all about me. I was bullied. I did this. I was that. And so, yeah. So, as I said before, it does not make a lot of sense because you can't. She basically put blame on someone that she never knew, that she wasn't sure of who did it. And as I said, in narcissism PDF, they tend to do this. They tend to put blame on others without even, they accept the opinions of other people. And it's just, it's just sad. So yeah, so this is part 1 of analyzing Shanae's letter. Thank you for watching, and I hope to do a part 2 and more analyzing. So yeah, thank you.